How many times have you scrolled through your phone at 11 p.m., lying in bed, thinking there has to be a better way to make money than this? You're working your regular job, maybe making $50,000, $60,000 a year, and after taxes, rent, groceries, and everything else, you're basically just surviving. And then you see these people online talking about starting businesses, and you think, yeah, but I don't have $50,000 to invest, or I don't have some genius idea. Here's the thing that's going to make you a little frustrated. While you've been convincing yourself you need some massive amount of capital or this revolutionary concept, people are starting profitable businesses right now with less money than you spent on your phone. And I'm not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or drop-shipping courses that cost $2,000. I'm talking about actual, sustainable businesses. So today, I'm breaking down the best business ideas for 2026, the actual budgets you need, and more importantly, the psychology of why most people never start. Before we dive in, let's talk about what's actually happening in the economy right now. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were over 5.5 million new business applications filed in 2023. That's a massive number. But here's what most people don't realize. According to a study by the Kaufman Foundation, the average startup costs for a new business is around $3,000 to $30,000, depending on the type. Now, you might be thinking, $30,000? I thought you said average budget. Okay, hold on. That's the range. What they found is that service-based businesses, those average around $3,000 to $5,000 to start. And that's where we're going to focus today. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't held back by money. They're held back by the psychological barrier of calling themselves a business owner. Let me explain what I mean. When you think about starting a business, your brain immediately jumps to storefront, employees, inventory, LLC paperwork, business cards, a fancy website. But that's not how most successful businesses actually start. They start with one person solving one problem for one customer, then repeating that process. This is where it gets really interesting. There's this concept in psychology called identity foreclosure. Basically, it's when you lock yourself into an identity, like I'm an employee, and you can't see yourself as anything else. So even when you have the skills, the time, and honestly even the money to start something, your brain rejects it because it doesn't match your self-image. I see this all the time. Someone who's amazing at graphic design will work for $45,000 a year at an agency, but won't charge $1,000 for a freelance logo project because they don't see themselves as someone who runs a business. Meanwhile, the agency is charging the client $5,000 for that same logo and paying the designer $45,000 a year to make it. The math here is insane. If you did just two $1,000 logo projects a month, that's $24,000 a year on the side. But the psychological jump from I'm a graphic designer who works for someone to I'm a graphic designer who works for myself feels massive, even though the actual work is identical. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what are these actual business ideas? Business idea 1, digital services. Let's start with the lowest barrier to entry. Digital service businesses. This includes things like copywriting, video editing, social media management, virtual assistants, bookkeeping, web design. Here's the average budget breakdown for something like this. Website or portfolio, $100 to $300, Squarespace, Wix, or just use Notion. Business tools or software, $50 to $100 a month for things like scheduling, invoicing. Initial marketing, $200 to $500, maybe some Facebook ads, or just networking. Honestly, this can be $0. Total startup, $350 to $900. Now, here's what most people don't realize about digital services. According to Statista, the global market for digital services was valued at over $600 billion in 2023 and projected to grow by about 10% annually. But here's the part that matters to you. Small businesses spend an average of $400 to $2,000 per month on digital marketing alone, according to Clutch. Let me break down the math on just one type. Let's say you charge $750 per client to manage their Instagram and Facebook. You post 3 times a week, engage with comments, and send them a monthly report. That's honestly maybe 5 to 7 hours of work per week per client. If you have 3 clients, that's $2,250 a month or $27,000 a year extra. With 5 clients, that's $45,000 a year, a whole separate income. But here's the psychological block. You're thinking, who would pay me for that? Look, there are literally millions of small businesses, local restaurants, real estate agents, insurance agents, fitness trainers, dentists, who know they need to post on social media but have no idea what to post or when. They're busy running their actual business. To them, $750 a month to not have to think about social media is nothing. That's like one new client for most businesses. Business idea 2, local service arbitrage. Okay, this one is going to sound weird at first, but stay with me. It's what I call local service arbitrage. Here's how it works. You start a local service business. Think pressure washing, lawn care, house cleaning, window washing. But you don't actually do the work yourself initially. You market the service, book the clients, then subcontract the actual work to someone else. Average budget. Basic website with booking system, $200 to $400. Google Ads or local marketing, $300 to $500 a month initially. Insurance, crucial, $500 to $1,000 a year. Basic equipment, if you want to do some jobs yourself, $500 to $1,000. Total startup, $1,500 to $2,900. Now, here's the thing about local services. According to Ibis World, the house cleaning industry alone is worth about $90 billion in the U.S., pressure washing, over $2 billion. And these are fragmented industries, meaning there's no dominant player controlling everything. Let me show you the math that makes this work. Let's say you start a pressure washing business. You charge $250 to pressure wash someone's driveway. You subcontract that job to someone for $150. You just made $100, and you didn't get wet. But that seems like such a small margin. Okay, but do 5 jobs a week. That's $500 profit. That's $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. And here's where it gets really interesting. As you build up regular clients and reviews, you can start hiring people part-time or even doing some jobs yourself. Now, instead of making $100 per job, you're making $200 to $250 per job because you're not subcontracting. Business idea 3, digital products. This one is my favorite for long-term wealth building, digital products. This could be online courses, templates, spreadsheets, design assets, stock photos, ebooks, Notion templates, resume templates, whatever. The beautiful thing about digital products is you create them once and you can sell them infinitely. Average budget. Creation tools, $50 to $200. Canva Pro, camera for filming, microphone. Platform to sell, $0 to $100 a month. Gumroad is free to start, or use Teachable, Kajabi. Initial marketing, $200 to $500. Total startup, $250 to $800. According to Research and Markets, the global e-learning market is expected to reach over $450 billion by 2027. But forget those big numbers for a second. Let's focus on what this means for you. Let's say you're a teacher and you create a bundle of 50 lesson plan templates. You sell it for $29. If you can sell just 10 per week through Teachers Pay Teachers or your own site, that's $290 a week, about $1,160 a month, almost $14,000 a year, for something you created once. Or let's say you're into fitness. You create a 30-day workout program with videos and a meal plan guide. You sell it for $47. If you can sell 20 per month, that's less than 1 per day. That's $940 a month, $11,280 a year. Now you might be thinking, but the market is so saturated. Here's what most people don't realize. The reason the market looks saturated is because the products that work keep selling. That's not a sign of saturation, that's proof of demand. According to a study by ConvertKit, creators making over $50,000 a year increased by 90% from 2021 to 2022. The market isn't shrinking, people just aren't seeing the opportunity. The psychological barrier here is perfectionism. People spend 6 months making the perfect course that never launches. Meanwhile, someone else launches a good enough course in 2 weeks and makes $10,000 while the perfectionist is still filming Module 7. Business idea 4, Content creation with strategy. Look, I know what you're thinking. Content creation. Really, Nick? Everyone's a content creator now. Yes, but here's the difference. I'm not talking about being an influencer. I'm talking about content creation as a business model with multiple revenue streams. Average budget. Decent camera or phone, $0. You probably already have this. Basic editing software, $20 to $50 a month. Lighting, $100 to $200. Microphone, $50 to $150. Total startup, $170 to $420. The content creator economy was valued at over $100 billion in 2023, according to Goldman Sachs, and it's projected to nearly triple by 2027. But here's what's actually interesting. According to a report by Kajabi, 46% of content creators make money from multiple income streams. Let me show you what this actually looks like. You start a YouTube channel or TikTok about personal finance, or fitness, or cooking, or whatever you know. You're not trying to go viral. You're building an audience. Then you monetize it through 1. Ad revenue, once you hit thresholds. 2. Affiliate marketing, recommending products you actually use. 3. Sponsorships, once you have 10,000 plus engaged followers. 4. Your own digital products. 5. Coaching or consulting. Let's do the math on a modest example. You have 50,000 YouTube subscribers. You get about $3 to $5 per 1,000 views. If you post weekly and average 20,000 views per video, that's about $240 to $400 per video. Times 4 videos a month, that's roughly $960 to $1,600 from ads alone. Add in one $500 sponsored video per month, plus $1,000 from affiliate commissions, plus $2,000 from selling your own course, and you're at $4,460 to $5,100 per month, or about $53,520 to $61,200 per year. Here's the uncomfortable truth that no one wants to talk about. The barrier isn't money. For everything I just described, you could start with under $1,000, some of them under $500. The real barrier is psychological. It's the fear of looking stupid. It's the fear of failure. It's the fear of success, honestly, because if you succeed, then you have to maintain it, and that's a different kind of pressure. There's this phenomenon called loss aversion, discovered by Daniel Kahneman, who won a Nobel Prize for this stuff. Basically, the pain of losing $100 feels about twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining $100. So when you think about starting a business, your brain isn't calculating the potential gain, it's catastrophizing the potential loss. You think, what if I spend $500 and fail? But you don't think, what if I don't spend $500 and I'm still in the exact same financial position in 5 years? According to the Small Business Administration, about 50% of small businesses survive past 5 years. Now, most people hear that and think, see, half of them fail. But flip it around. Half of them succeed. And those are often started by people with no more advantages than you have right now. So, here's what you're going to do. Not tomorrow, not next week when you have more time, tonight. First, pick one of these business models. Just one. The one that made you the least uncomfortable, or honestly, the one that scared you the most. That's usually the right one. Second, calculate your actual startup costs. Write them down. I bet it's less than you spend on entertainment and eating out in 3 months. Third, commit to 90 days. That's it. 90 days of actually trying. Not half trying, not I'll see if I have time trying. Actually trying. According to a study in the European Journal of Social Psychology, it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. Give yourself 90 days to make this your habit. Fourth, find one person who's doing what you want to do and study them. Not in a creepy way, just see what they're doing that works. Most successful business owners are shockingly willing to help people who are genuinely trying. Look, here's the thing that nobody tells you about starting a business. It's not actually that hard. The work itself, that's just work. The hard part is the decision to start. The hard part is overriding every psychological defense mechanism your brain has constructed to keep you comfortable. Your brain likes predictability, A steady paycheck is predictable. A business is not. So your brain is going to give you every excuse. You don't have enough money. You do. You don't know enough. You know enough to start. It's not the right time. It never feels like the right time. But here's what I know. You watching this video, you making it this far, means some part of you knows you're capable of more. And that part is right. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income according to Tom Corley's research on wealthy individuals. Notice I said streams, not jobs. These are businesses, investments, royalties. They started somewhere, usually with less money than you have right now and more fear than they want to admit. So, which business are you going to start? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, subscribe because I break down the psychology and math of money every single week. Remember, the best time to start was 5 years ago. The second best time is right now. I'll see you in the next one.